Hi everyone! Welcome back to a new video on my YouTube channel, and my name is Liz. For if you are new here, I created this YouTube channel because I love to talk about the construct of reality and the different systems that are kind of the backbone of this construct of reality, so you can understand these systems better and apply them in your life. And therefore you understand better your soul journey and you can live your soul journey much better. That's what I learned and experienced for myself. So yeah, thank you for being here. I really want to talk about one of these systems, which is astrology, because we are in a heavy energy, cosmic energy right now, which I love, because for me, I see so much falling into place right now, with Jupiter returns, North Node and South Node returns, and we just got like the Lionsgate portal, so I want to talk a little bit about those things, like the whole cosmic energy that is reflecting back in the collective consciousness. But I think especially these 4 or 5 weeks are very important for starseeds. It's very potent also for starseeds. It has a really connection with the new earth. So I want to talk about that and explain a little bit more about that and express a little bit from my own perception in my own life, how it is, how it feels, what I'm going through. But also for you as a starseed, that you think, well, you might think like, what's going on right now? Because I feel so much pressure and anxiety, but also I feel like this green light, like it's go time. So I want to explain that a little bit. Oh my god, there's so many mosquitoes here. I see. Anyway, because there are a few things I really want to dive deeper in. And I want to start with the date 26th of July. What happened then? And then we will go to the Lionsgate portal, and then I will talk more about the eclipse season of August that we are in. So we have like the eclipses coming up, and it's just one big journey. And I do feel it's a huge journey for starseeds right now. So let's go into that. So 26th of July, I have here some notes, by the way. 26th of July, the North Node and the South Node changed. And the North Node and South Node are like points in the sky compared to astrology. It's a little bit complicated, so I won't go too deep into that because I really want to cover a lot in this video. But these are points in the sky, and they changed from Pisces as the North Node and Virgo as the South Node to Aquarius as the North Node and Leo as the South Node. So what does that mean? These nodes, they are kind of destiny points. That's how I see it. I know that some astrologers also see it like that, but for me, I really feel that because they also connect with the eclipses, and for me, the eclipses are very much destined, like there are these points always in my life that I think, oh my god, it's such a like an acceleration of what is like coming after that, it's like it's something is opening, and I will go deeper into that later. But let's start first with the North and the South Node, because the North Node is like the kind of compass where we're going to, and the South Node is more like what can we purge? What can we release? What can we leave behind? And these North Nodes, they switch every 18 months. So it's like 1.5 years. So what I want to say is that, for example, if you are now 18 years or 36 years old like me, you have also your return. So for me, the North and the South Node are now at the same place as they were when I was born, because my North Node is in Aquarius and my South Node is in Leo. That's just like a side note, but I will explain much more about that. Because Pisces, we went in the last 18 months, our compass was to go to Pisces, you know, like these characteristics of Pisces, like all these signs, they are like a kind of archetype we tap into collectively, but also individually, because like the collective is a kind of mirror of what's happening for you. And I want to say this, that not everyone feels this exactly the same, because it also depends on where the North Nodes were when you were born. But if you were born with like the North Node in Aquarius and the South Node in Leo, you're feeling this like, instead of, for example, 40%, you can feel it for like 120%. So for me, it's like, oh my God, so much is going on. I really want to share more about that later in this video. But let's talk a little bit more now about the North Node that went from Pisces to and goes now into Aquarius, because Pisces is more this sign of intuition, spirituality, dreamy, you know. The North Node is more like the positive sign, the positive sides of each sign, the positive side of each sign. And you know, I really want to say every sign has their shadow side and it has like their unique abilities, right? There is not one sign that is better than the other. But when a North Node is in a particular sign, so it was in Pisces, we are more going to like these characteristics of that sign, like the positive signs, you know. So, and the South Node was in Virgo. So Pisces is very like intuition, spiritual, a little bit dreamy, you know. That's very, very emotional, you know. A lot is coming up, and you feel, okay, there I don't know exactly what is like going on, but my intuition is becoming more strong. That was really all about the last 18 months. But at the same time, in the last 18 months, the South Node was in Virgo. And Virgo is very logical, analytical, like structured, you know. And it was that because the South Node was in Virgo, it means that we can release that, we can purge that. So that was really for the last 18 months, feeling more intuition instead of like doing everything very logical and analytical with the mind, you know, like Virgo does. Now, since 26th of July, it's changing. It's changed, you know. We are going now into Aquarius. And if you've seen my other videos, you know I love Aquarius. I really love Aquarius sign. It's very futuristic. It's very humanitarian, very community feeling, very philosophical. That are like very positive characteristics of Aquarius. So we're going to that now for the upcoming 18 months. But what we have to release now, purging in the upcoming 18 months, are more like the shadow sides of Leo. Because Leo has really good characteristics about, you know, becoming courageous and brave. And, you know, it's like the ego. It's me. I'm gonna do this, you know. But like every sign has also its shadow sides. And that is of Leo, it's more about self-centeredness, a little bit narcissistic, ego, performing. Leo really wants to get like this external validation, to be seen, but to be seen for external validation. That it can be a little bit like self-centered, you know. Aquarius doesn't give a fuck. Like Aquarius just, this is how I see it, and this is very much future how I see it, and I will go there, and I don't care what people think about that, you know. It doesn't matter. So we go there. And we leave a little bit behind like these narcissistic traits, you know, of Leo. Because the South Node is in Leo, the North Node is in Aquarius. So that is very interesting for me. And then we had 3 days later, 29 of July, we had a full moon in Aquarius also. So there's a lot of Aquarius energy because also Pluto is in Aquarius, but there's also a lot of Leo energy because Jupiter is also in Leo. So it's like the energy right now is very amplified because Jupiter, the planet of expansion, in Leo is saying, go, do it, you know, go for it. And it's gonna be in Leo for 12 months. This is Jupiter really pushing like the positive sides of Leo. But the South Node in Leo also says, yeah, but release and purge the shadow sides of Leo. And you know what that's gonna do right now in the collective consciousness, and I find this so interesting, and this is why I say like it is really go time for Starseeds, because I think Hollywood is gonna fall, because Hollywood is based on all this Leo energy, like a little bit the shadow sides of Leo, like look at me and I want to be put on this pedestal and everything has to be surrounded around me. You know what I'm trying to say? But for like the consciousness humanity is in right now, it doesn't match anymore, you know? There's a lot of like people in the spiritual community, for example, not only in the spiritual community, like there's a lot of people who have these narcissistic traits, and you know, they build like a business on their ego and like very self-centered, but they didn't really do the work. But they were in as a front runner, you know, a public figure, for example. But this is really not going to work anymore. What is going to change now is that the people who find it more difficult to step into that role of becoming visible and becoming seen, you know, but who don't really have like this Leo ego side, but more this kind of Aquarian side of it, like, you know, first doing the shadow work and thinking about the community and doing good things for humanity. It is like that the path is like made free for those people. And the people who did the work, but were like afraid to step into visibility because it's not really in their kind of nature, they are pushed now by the cosmos because we are supported, you know? Like the energy of like performing, like the Leo energy of performing, it's gonna leave, you know? And it makes like a new way for the people who are here not to perform, but who say like, this is who I am. I want to be authentic. I want to share my voice. I find it really scary, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And this is very much new earth frequency also, because the old world was a lot built on ego. It was a lot built on celebrities and look at me and you know, it was very Leo-like. And because the consciousness is changing, it's gonna be way more authenticity, you know. And a little side note, I see this a lot also when I look at, for example, how Instagram, the algorithm is gonna change, but also X, for example, the monetizing of X, how they want that the content is going to be authentic and not like copy paste. They're really gonna change this in the algorithm, which is very much the changing of the North and the South Node. You see, we're gonna purge everything like the shadow side of Leo, and we're gonna step into the positive side of Aquarius. Futuristic, new technologies, humanity, community, you know, authenticity, and all the other sides of Leo we're gonna leave behind. So I think there's gonna be a whole shift right now And I mean, we already see that a little bit in Hollywood, right? And yeah, like, well, I can make a whole video about this, but maybe I will do that one day. So that about the North and the South Node, and a little bit like touching upon like the new Earth where we're going to, and the rise of consciousness, you know, of humanity. It's also connected. We see it in the cosmos, and that is for me so interesting. This is why I love this construct of reality, and to understand it, and all these different systems, you know, that are kind of like the backbone of this reality, or like the operation manual of the simulation. You know, I also like to call it like that, because I do believe we live in a simulation. Anyway, so then we also had last Monday on 3 of August, we had Chiron, it's an asteroid, the wounded healer, who is right now in the beginning of Taurus, was going retrograde. It's going backwards. And Taurus is much about grounding, of course. It's an earth sign, but it's also a lot about self-love, money, because I think those things are connected. Love also, because it's connected with Venus, because Venus' home sign is Taurus. But it's going retrograde, so it means like we go inward a little bit again. And it will be until the middle of December, if I'm correct. It will go retrograde. It will even go for a while in Aries, and then it will follow its journey again. But when an asteroid or a planet goes retrograde, it means that we go a little bit more inward to understand a little bit like, okay, what are the things that are not really serving me anymore? What are the things I want to leave behind so I can raise my own self-love, my self-value? You know what I mean? And so that is really interesting that happened on 3 of August. And then the 8th of August, 2 days ago, we had the Lionsgate portal. And a lot of people talk always about the Lionsgate portal, about you have to manifest and you have to write like these things down, and then, you know, a little ceremony. And of course you can do that. I mean, it's really good to do it. But I think it's very important to keep in mind that you are intentional about it and think like, what do I want? Who do I want to be? How am I going to step into my power? How am I going to change something? How am I going to step through this portal to walk into this new timeline for myself and leave everything that is like not serving me behind? You know, so it's so much in line with the changing of the North and the South Node, like 2 weeks ago. Then Chiron, the wounded healer, that goes backwards. And it's also very important to understand in your natal chart where Chiron sits. Because if you understand that, you also understand your wound much better. So for example, for me, Chiron is in Cancer in the 10th house. And the 10th house is more about career, how you become a public figure in your career, you know, because all the houses say like, okay, where are these planets, where are they like shining their light in the themes in your life? So for me, Chiron is there. So there's a lot of pressure and trauma and anxiety and wounds around this becoming visible and become a public figure in my career, what I'm supposed to do apparently. But at the same time, Jupiter is also there. It's like really close to each other. So, and Jupiter said, yeah, but okay, you have to expand yourself, you know, here. This is what you're gonna do. You're made for this. You're made to make like these videos and share your wisdom and start talking and, you know, don't give a fuck, you know, what people think. But then there is at the same time Chiron saying like, yeah, but hello, you know, you have some traumas there with like speaking up, so better not to do it, you know. So it's like this compression point I'm in. Also because it's my Jupiter return and it is my North and South Node return, so it's like double for me, that Chiron is really loud right now. It's like really loud, but at the same time, Jupiter is also really loud, like expand, go, it's go time now, it's green light, you know. And then I want to create these videos because I love to talk about this, but somehow before I start this video or, you know, press record, I really feel my whole solar plexus, like from the inside, like, you know, it's like, it's so strange. And I can really feel in this period of my life that I try to go online and become visible. And I know it's not only me. I know it's all the starseeds who have a role in this new earth, that we have to like step over this visibility anxiety because we're actually made for that. And I think it's a good thing that a lot of starseeds who are not really used to the spotlight did a lot of shadow work before, because all the people who didn't do the shadow work and are in the spotlight, I don't know, they're gonna get like crushed, or they have to step back because for them it's going to be time to do some shadow work, you know, that all this ego and this narcissistic behavior and this egocentric behavior and this performance behavior, we're not in that time anymore, because we are in a shift. I mean, we are in a shift. We're going to the new earth. We're going to the fifth dimension, the fifth density. We're going to a different frequency. And there is no place anymore for this ego energy, you know? So the people who were like really walking in that ego energy, it's time for them to do some shadow work. And for the upcoming 18 months for sure, because that's what we're seeing. We have to purge and release like the shadow sides of Leo. And I know I'm repeating a lot because I really want you to understand this. Especially as a starseed, it's very important to understand this, because then you also understand why you feel this push and pull all the time. And especially if you have also your North Node in Aquarius, so then you also have your South Node, of course, in Leo, you're gonna feel this more than 100%. It's really strongly right now. So that's why I keep repeating this, so that you really understand this and understand that it's like kind of destiny, it's fate, because the North Nodes, they're like the destiny lines, you know, the destiny points. It's like really, it's fate, you know. You are made for this. I am made for this, you know, and it's fucking uncomfortable. Because with one leg we stand in like the old identity, and with the other leg we stand in the new identity. And this phase in between, it's really uncomfortable. It's very tiring. Also, I'm so tired. I'm really tired, and because also all the time these emotions, they're like, you know, like fluctuating all the time, and yeah, it is uncomfortable. So. But it's gonna be better. We just have to get through it, guys. Really, we have to get through it. So, okay. I think I was saying something about like this new earth and yeah, that we can purge and release the Leo. But yeah, at the same time, so the people, that's what I wanted to say. So the people who are like really in these spotlights and wanted to perform, and they never did like really the shadow work, they will be pushed to do that now. But the people who did the shadow work before, and I think many starseeds did that, they are now also pushed to go, you know. So that we don't have the feeling we have to perform, we can just be authentic and share our truth, because the time of ego is over, you know. It's now all about truth and authenticity, because that is like the new frequency on this earth. And some people will go first, and you know, I think there will be like different kind of waves of people, but eventually we shift, you know. Okay. So, and then we have the Lionsgate portal 8-8, which has a lot to do with numerology, and it has to do with the star Sirius and like the Sphinx in Egypt. And so there's this portal where you really can step into your new identity, or at least like be very intentional about it, because our thoughts create our reality, right? So, and this portal just like amplifies it, because it's the Lionsgate portal, and it is like, again, Jupiter also in Leo, you know, like expand, expand, expand. And then also the South Node in Leo, but, you know, expand, but, you know, the good sides of Leo, but the shadow sides of Leo, yeah, we don't need that. You can leave that behind. And then at the same time, Aquarius, which is all about the new earth and philosophical, and yeah, I love Aquarius. And then we have the eclipses. And there's something so interesting about these eclipses that I really want to mention. Eclipses are always connected to like a new moon and a full moon. And most of the time, we first have a full moon eclipse, which is then a lunar eclipse. And then 2 weeks later, we have a new moon eclipse, new moon, which is then a solar eclipse. That's most of the time it's like that. But everything in this time is like a little bit different, right? So now we have it different. So lunar eclipses, they are way more about like a new beginning, a new opportunity. These new opportunities, new beginnings are destined. They are fated, you know. It is kind of written in your soul journey for everyone, you know. But it also depends, again. So that's why it's so important to check your natal chart. For some people, we feel it like way more stronger than others. So really look it up. So the new moon eclipse is always about a new beginning. It's about a new opportunity that can come in your path, you know. And the full moon eclipses, they are more like there is a completion, you know. It's full now, it's completion, it's completed, and now you have to let that go. And usually we first have a full moon eclipse, but this time we have first a new moon eclipse, which I really like, because that means that first we get to see a new beginning, a new opportunity that is popping up in your life. And then 2 weeks later, we can release the old. Well, usually it's first that we have to release something, because most of the time it's first like a full moon eclipse or like a full moon, so it is then a solar eclipse. No, a full moon, so it is then a lunar eclipse, sorry. So usually we have to release something and then trust that 2 weeks later, something new starts, a new opportunity arises, yeah? But this time, we see already the new opportunity coming. And then 2 weeks later, we can let go of something, which is way more comfortable, right? So it's not like, oh, we have to release now and just trust that something else is popping up. No, we will see something popping up first, and then 2 weeks later we can release something. And yeah, I'm so curious what it's going to be. Yeah, so it's going to be like in 2 days, the solar eclipse, so a new moon in Leo. So it's going to be in Leo, and then the lunar eclipse, the full moon, is going to be in Pisces. And this will be on the 28th of August. So we had so many dates that were so important, like the 26th of July, the changing of the nodes. 29th of July, we had a full moon in Aquarius. And then we had 3 of August, Chiron, the wounded healer, that went backwards, retrograde. 8/8 Lionsgate portal. And then now in 2 days we have the new moon, so the solar eclipse, and I think it's a full solar eclipse. And in Leo again. So something new is gonna begin in Leo. And Jupiter is gonna amplify it, because Jupiter is in Leo and Jupiter is the planet of expansion. And then we have something that we can release. Something is complete with the full moon, which is a lunar eclipse in Pisces. So It can be very emotional, intuitive, but it can also be because the shadow side of Pisces is more like, also it can be like a little bit illusionary, like some illusions, you know. So I don't know, maybe it's also like some fantasy, you know. The Pisces can sometimes also live, when it's living in its shadow, a little bit more like living in fantasy. Yeah, so that's going to be really interesting, especially these upcoming 18 months. With the new North and South Node. I'm really curious what's going to happen in the collective, what we're going to see. But especially this North Node in Aquarius, which is so futuristic, so philosophical, so authentic, so much about new technologies. And then I really think about AI and blockchain, and we have then the UFO disclosure, and you know, I think that's not only about multidimensionality, as I said so many times before, but it's also going to be about new technologies, free energy. Yeah, for people who follow a little bit the crypto and the new financial system, I think in September they said now they will pass about the Clarity Act. So that would be really good. I really believe we're going to go to a new financial system that will be on the blockchain, that is going to give us way more sovereignty and less control. Even though a lot of people think that when we're going to go to a new financial system and tokenization, that everything will be controlled, but that's impossible on the blockchain. But sometimes I think they want us to think like that, you know. But that is really something for a new video, and yeah, I really want to share my theories about this. But for now, to talk a little bit about my own experience in these last 3 weeks and the upcoming 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm definitely standing with one leg in my old identity, because I feel so much of this anxiety popping up when I want to create a new video. Oh, my legs. Oh. I feel that. And most of the time while I'm like talking, it's not like so bad at all, but there is this anxiety that I keep feeling all the time. And I know it's like not legit, you know, I know it's not real, but I do feel it. And after I'm like recording this and I'm editing it and I'm looking at myself, I think I'm really authentic. I like that. You know, and then I say, okay, next time I'm not going to be scared anymore. I'm not, you know, there's nothing to worry about, Liz. But somehow it starts again every time. And I also try to think, like, I think it's the same for some women who go for the first time to the gym. And then they are there and they look around and they are like, okay, where shall I start now? And is everyone's gonna look at me? And maybe I do something wrong. And, you know, they feel like all the time this anxiety. But then after 10 times, you know, the anxiety is gone. But you have to go, how you say that? Consistently, right? You have to show up for yourself all the time. And that's also what I keep telling myself. And sometimes I'm just pushing it away. And then I'm like going in my old identity and like these old habits that pop up, you know, and I don't want that. I want to step in this new identity, but it's also so uncomfortable. But I know I have to push through it. And when I look at my old natal chart and the astrology and like the whole gene keys, so not only these 4 core gene keys, but also like the Pearl and the Venus sequences, you know, for the people who know a little bit about gene keys. It kind of explains I'm made for this. But it also sees where the difficulties are and where I have to start trusting myself. And I have to say, and this is so funny because for the last 18 months, the North Node was in Pisces, which is like very much like the positive characteristics of Pisces is intuition, you know, and spirituality. And I was doing so much shadow work, and I could feel it. Like, I was writing my book, but I could feel like I'm hiding behind my laptop still. I have to start talking about these topics instead of just writing a book and still not being visible, being safe, you know, behind my laptop. And intuitively, I knew there's gonna come this day that I start my YouTube channel and I just start talking. I knew it was gonna come. And it is so strange that then when like the cosmos change, which has an effect on the collective consciousness, but of course it has an effect individually also, especially when you see these cycles, because life is all about cycles and patterns. When you see these cycles coming back in your own life, and if you understand that, as you know, like I do, then you know, like, oh my God, it's like go time. This is the time, you know. And somehow you cannot hide anymore, because like hiding feels even more uncomfortable than becoming visible. And that is really interesting for me. So yeah, I don't know, I'm meant for this, and I'm just gonna do it. And yeah, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but you know, the thing is, while I'm like beginning before recording, I check my Garmin and I see like my heart rate is going 100 beats per, no, not per second. Anyway, it's good. My heart rate is going 100, you know. I really have to meditate for a while to get my heart rate down, because otherwise I cannot even talk normally. And I still feel that my voice is a little bit here, and I also know that I need to buy like a microphone, and you know, that will come all, you know, I just have to start. And but yeah, it's wild what I feel. And I try to explain this also to my friends, you know, and they don't really understand it. You know, of course they listen to me, but they're like, but you do it so natural. I said, but you guys, you don't know what I feel. It's so weird. Yeah, because there's so much like trauma around that. And, you know, in my life, I really learned to become the observer after a while, because I always wanted to talk about these things, but I also realized, like, yeah, when you know, I don't want to have conflict with people. So I really learned at some point to become the observer and not talk anymore. And I really felt like, okay, this is more safe. But I really isolated myself with that. Well, and at some point that also doesn't feel safe, right? This is also like, yeah, but this is not what I want. So I really feel I'm in this compression point with 2 cycles that are now coming back. You know, my 3rd cycle because of Jupiter, and then my 2nd cycle with the North Node, which is my compass. And it's like this boiling point, you know, like you have to now, you have to. And yeah, so I think this is also why I wanted to have this YouTube channel, to talk about these topics. But at the same time, I really want to express myself. I really want to explain what I'm feeling, because maybe you're watching and you think like, oh my God, I feel exactly the same. So I'm not the only one. No, you're not the only one. And what I've heard from people online who do coaching calls, etc., who are also more into understanding like the cycles and astrology, they say there is such a big group of people who are feeling this now. This anxiety, you know, they want to, but they're scared. So yeah, this is the shift, guys. We're in the shift. We're gonna go to the new earth with our higher consciousness, and the world is gonna change for the better, which I really like, and I love to talk about that. So if you want to know more about that, you definitely have to subscribe and watch my videos. And I don't know, I just want to be this girl for you that you can listen to, who sits on her bed, and you can, I don't know, I can be your friend and together, we're gonna step into our soul journey. Okay, this is it. I think I talked enough. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.